Hi guys, my name is Chao Mokhale and welcome to my YouTube channel. Firstly, I want to just talk about what this YouTube channel is about, what it is and what it's not. Okay, generally I'm known as a fitness coach, a strength coach, maybe conditioning coach. I specialize in kettlebells. But over the years coaching folks, I found that I have a greater effect if and when I speak to things like psychology, when I speak to things like mindset. And it didn't actually come to me until I was actually part of an NLP coaching class where they used me as an example, and they talked about, we talked about my morning routine and just how early it had to be because I had to actually show up, the best I could show up for my clients. And that meant actually having a morning routine before I went out because I was helping my clients with their morning routine. So I had to show up at people's doors at like 5 or 6 o'clock. And in that kind of breakdown or analysis of my thinking, I started to actually understand that there was actually a particular mindset that I actually wasn't even aware of. There was definitely something going on in my head a night prior or just in general that helped me or has helped me at least cultivate a lifestyle where I'm generally more active, and it's something that now is second nature to me. So I haven't really, at least over the years, over the more recently, I've been thinking about it because of this class, and because of a lot of the courses that I'm taking, and breaking my behavior down into the thinking and the feeling before the behavior. I never really looked at it that way. And now I think I'm able to help folks, in a more powerful way, not just by giving you exercises, which you can find all over the internet. I find that I've been very reluctant to show people how to swing or show people how to lift or how to do different things simply because I think other people do that better than I do, and I've just had a much better effect when I speak to someone and I kind of show them that they can maybe change the lens that they're looking at this through. And by changing the lens, that changes the thinking, and then it changes the feeling, and then the behavior becomes second nature. And so I want this channel to really be about that place where productivity meets personal development, meets, strength and conditioning. And there is a place where it actually intersects. And just before I did this video, I actually banged out, 10 kettlebell swings because there's a way in which doing the exercise over the years has actually helped me show up in a particular way. It has really helped my energy in different scenarios. And whether I'm trying to be creative or trying to do one thing or the other, exercise is one of those tools that I go to, but it didn't start that way. I also wanted the arms, and I was trying to get the girl, and I wanted the body, and so the aesthetics were definitely where I started off. Like a lot of us are looking to be. I've stayed under 12% body fat most of my life. I mean, even at worst, I maybe go up to about 15. And I tell you this not really because I'm trying to impress you, but it really impresses me because of how easy it has been for me to do it. And a lot of folks, think I spend a lot of time at the gym. I might talk about exercise a lot because, I love biology. I love how the body works and how the body responds to stressors. And over the last few years now, I've actually been looking at how to stress my mindset or to stress, say, just different aspects of myself because we aren't just all physical. Forgot to turn the light on. Yeah, there we go. So YouTubing, for instance, has been a challenge for me because I've kind of been struggling with what to put out. I definitely didn't want to talk about exercise on its own because I knew that that is a behavior. And before the behavior, you need to precede it with certain things. And like I said, I've worked out with a lot of folks who said, listen, be at my house at 5. If you don't show up, then I'm not doing it, And I thought, that's interesting. It's your lifestyle that, that we're trying to affect. And he says, listen, I just don't have it in me. A lot of clients would say to me. And I think I started to develop some compassion when I started to actually understand the way the mind works and the fact that those folks are probably putting more attention into other parts of their life that at that moment are more important, But as you get into your 30s and 40s and 50s, you start to notice just how important your physical being is, because it doesn't matter how much money you make or how great your relationships are. If your body is falling apart, then you don't stick around long enough to be with your family, to be with your little one, And for me, I've just been, I've been privileged to know folks on both sides of the spectrum. There's some guys who have managed to stay really fit and trim and just look amazing all the time. And then there's some folks who, just need a little bit of help. And like I say, it's really not a slight or a judgment on these folks. Those specific guys have gone on to do amazing things, build companies, and just make loads and loads of money. And so financially, they're doing extremely well, but are struggling with just how to think about this thing. So this channel is specifically about that lens. I really want to dive into that lens and really talk about the psychology around how to just how to live a certain way, so that your work and your play and your relationships and all these different parts of you actually get the best of you. And like I said, it needn't take a very long time. And for it not to take a long time, then we can talk about exercise choice. Then we can talk about intensity. Then we can talk about frequency and, learning ways to set it up in such a way that you are, you're victorious more often than not. And with the little victories comes the confidence, and with the confidence, comes more victories and bigger victories, and et cetera, et cetera. And it kind of, what's the word? It kind of flows into each other, and one feeds the other, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, man, this is one of those videos, and I really want to put as many out as possible because I'm trying to get better at this. And I'm probably going to use the wall behind me sometimes to sketch a few things and just show you, some of my thinking around this. But, thankfully I've had a lot of mentors online, and I've had a few conversations with folks as I move around Johannesburg, and a lot of guys are like, hey man, you should have a channel. And I've just struggled with how to kind of piece it together so that I can give you the best value, at least. So I'm not just another guy who's talking about sit-ups and squats and all that, because that, as much as it is important, there is a thinking that precedes that, and I really want this channel to be about that. And then, this kind of where I'm at now kind of segues into identity. I think a very big part of why I think I found success in this particular area is because I've always seen myself a certain way. And I made a commitment to myself a long time ago that I'm going to always be in shape. I had a grandfather who was generally in shape, a really strong guy. And then I actually realized that the strength in him was really what I was after. I think it's very male archetypically. And, the fact that us as humans have the ability to grow and become, become someone else or become a better version of yourself, however way you want to think about it. The fact that I don't have to be the same guy next year, for me, is totally exciting. And so, I'm inviting you guys to, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the video, if you like the content. But I want to bring more stuff really that helps you get out of bed in the morning. That stuff that really helps you reach for that exercise, that helps you hit the road if running is really what you want to do. And, and I want to talk about running a little bit. Running is amazing and is addictive. And those who are runners out there will testify to this. My challenge with running is that even though most folks, that's the only thing that they've reached for in the past, and it has worked marvelously in the past, what it doesn't do is that it doesn't speak to some of these hormonal changes that we go through as we get older. And so I'm going to dig into all of those things and kind of just give you my 2 cents on it. And this is my first video in a long time. I intend to churn these videos out because I need to get better at this. The content's there. I mean, I've got like over 20 years experience in some of these fields. I've had some success with a lot of folks, and body composition really is really what I've been able to affect in people. But I think before the body composition was the thinking and was the feeling. How do you feel about some of these things? And is there a way we can really play with that a little bit so that we find what kind of works for you and what will get us to the place where we're doing the things that we need to do to change our composition, to be healthier. And, you don't have to be where you are right now. You can really, turn things around, and you have the rest of your life to do it. And, the mindset there is either a fixed one or a growth one, and I think we all have a little bit of both in some areas. I think, in areas where you're able to grow and become more, I think obviously you have a growth mindset there because you're not afraid to fail and you're not afraid to learn things from other people. Whereas, in a fixed mindset situation, you're you say things like, I'll never change, and my parents were this way, or my grandparents were this way, and that means that I'm beholden onto my parents' genetics, and that's also not true. So I do have a podcast where I'm going to definitely dive into the sciencey side of this and just try and debunk some of the terminology, the vocabulary, and just some of the myths that are out there, because there's a lot of things people believe that just aren't true, that just do not hold truth. And so if we can just shed some light in some of these areas, and a lot of the content online is awesome, but it's not in our context, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of brilliant trainers out here in the country, but for me, coaching just kind of just works on the heart and works on the mind, and I really, really feel strongly that that precedes habit creation. And some of us just want to break some habits. How do we achieve some of those things? So that's what I'm going to be speaking to. So I've kind of rambled on, and I think I've said what I wanted to say, at least in this first video. So I really hope you like it, and hit the subscribe button. And I've coached a lot of you guys out there, and I think back then I was so focused on the movement part of this, the exercise part, the fitness part, the conditioning part. But I think for me, the mindset, the psychology, the approach, I think those things are equally important, if not more important, actually. And then I want to speak to those things. And so just hit the button somewhere and the notifications, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers. Bye.